Hello. So we won't be starting for another 5 minutes or so, but I'm Alan from Land Engine. How's things?
Hi, Alan.
What's your interest in Land Engine? Have you got any plans for it?
Just noticed we've got matching outfits. Almost. Yes, so I'm already using it. I help run a little kind of community interest thing called, although we're not officially that, called Board Games East. So basically we run board gaming evenings for the LGBTQ community in London. And I have recently been getting interested in the circular economy and did a course with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, a certificate in that. And it occurred to me that between our games nights, which are every 2 weeks, we have this huge pile of games that don't get touched. So in the interest of getting the best value out of them, we want to kind of create a little bit of a lending library. So people that attend regularly are able to kind of borrow games and organize their own social events, because that's really what we're kind of about, is helping people who might struggle in classic pubs and clubs types environment to socialize more. So so I've already created a library, but I imagine that I've kind of probably gone about it in 100 wrong ways. So I'm here today to see what I've done wrong so I can finesse how our library works.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept with games as well, because obviously you've got lots of little bits.
Absolutely, yeah, we're kind of going through that. It's a very recent thing. We haven't officially launched yet, so we're kind of, sorry, I'm eating, that's really rude of me. We're kind of figuring out a lot of the detail as we go,
Yeah, so hello everyone so far. Obviously, I don't think we'll have time to do everyone's introductions. I think there's about 20 people coming today. So what we'll do is we'll wait till everyone joins. I'll do a quick introduction. We'll go straight into the software and then we'll take it from there. And then we'll have a Q&A. So it's only half an hour doing a presentation, and then we can have a Q&A after. Not sure how that's going to work. I haven't got the Q&A module for Google Meet, but we might try and do it through the in-call messaging. So if you've got any questions, pop them in there and I'll try and get through as many as I can in half an hour.
Sorry, Alan, just to clarify, you said if we have questions, just put them in the in-call messages. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we'll give it another minute and then we'll start. Hi everyone, we'll get cracking then. It is 1 o'clock now. So I'm Alan from Land Engine. I'll go. What I'm planning to do is not do too much presentations, more just going into the software and showing you how it works and doing a basic setup. So I'm hoping you'll get a lot out of this if you're new to Land Engine, or you just want to, maybe you've joined an organization that has already got Land Engine and you want to have a look at the basics first. It is completely free to borrow for 30 days at the plus plan rate. So if you create a new site, you will get access to the Lend Engine suite at the Plus plan for 30 days for free. There's no, you don't have to put any credit card information in or anything to make that happen. So I'll go straight into the presentation and then we can take it from there. So hope you can all see that okay. So what we're planning to do is just a bit of introduction to myself and my work with Lend Engine. We'll go through an initial setup, have a look at some of the options and the things you should do. We'll talk about testing before you go live if you are planning to do that. And so look at some of the advanced features, look at how you can get support, and then we'll have a 30-minute Q&A. So I'm going to do a 30-minute presentation and then 30 minutes to ask some questions. The way we'll do the questions is if you can put them in the in-call message, that would be great. And we'll try and get through as many as we can. Right, so my name's Alan Dalgairns. I've been running a library of things in Hull for about 4 years. I joined Lend Engine mainly just because I was pestering them all the time about new features and how things worked, and they were like, why don't you just come and work for us instead? So I've also been helping people with support and getting them up and running, and I've been a consultant with Lend Engine for 3.5 years. So what's your plan for Lend Engine? I'd really like to know. So if you've got something already set up, or you're planning something, if you're happy to share it with the group, please drop it in the in-call message and just put your name, your email address, and what it is you're planning to do. And if you have got a URL already for Lend Engine, what that URL is, that would be really great, and it'll be able to help us track how well these webinars do and whether we should continue doing more of them. So we're hoping to put on a series of these through the autumn and winter on very advanced features, some of our new features that are coming out, to really help guide people who are using Lend Engine. So we'll go through the initial setup, have a look at the creation of the site, and then really talk about what you should be thinking about when you're setting up the library, and what, like your opening times, how that affects when people can borrow and things like that. So it's really important that while you're planning, you have to think about, what is your first iteration of your library of things going to be, or whatever you're doing, whatever you're loaning. And how you plan to ramp it up. So you may want to just start maybe 1 day a week or 2 days a week, and then maybe eventually ramp it up to 5 days a week. And there's different ways of doing that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And we'll talk about the item listing, so listing each item individually in the system. Memberships and members and how they're affected. And completing your loan. And the user journey is really important. So it's really important for you to understand what your users have to do to create a profile and then start loaning from you. We'll then have a look at some of the advanced features. So we've got Mailchimp integration. We've got the reCAPTCHA, which is to try and stop dummy accounts from being created by bots on your site. There's some things about events that you can create an event within the system, and we've got some clients that just use the events for Lend Engine because they find it a very good and easy way to create events. We'll talk a bit about maintenance and the maintenance schedules, the carbon emissions impact and how we've integrated that, and then the latest thing we've added, which is lockers and the integration of a full locker solution into Lend Engine. So if you go to Lend Engine's website, you'll end up on this page where you can sign up for a free account. And like I say, it doesn't ask for any credit card information, and it gives you access to the system at the Plus plan. It's really important that if you are planning to use our free, so there is a tier which is completely free. If you are planning to use that, that you recognize that there are some things on the free, the demo account that you won't have access to when you downgrade to the free account. So some people do that straight away. They're like, "Well, I can't afford it at the minute, so I'll not use the demo. I'll go straight into just creating a free account." And you can do that. So once you've created the account, you can go in and say, "I want to select the free account," and then it'll just downgrade that account straight away to the free account. So have a think about whether you need the options of the Plus plan and whether you can afford them. And if you can't, then talk to us about downgrading the demo to the £5, £10 a month version, or the free account. And you can do the free account yourself, but you would have to start paying if you wanted to downgrade to the £10 a month one. So have a think about that. So this is what, when you click on create a demo site, this is what you would do. You would fill this information in, call the site whatever you want in there. If it doesn't allow your name in there, it may be already in use. So just bear that in mind. If it's not going through, then pick something else. Now this is a URL that will take you to your demo site. It doesn't have to be that in the end. You can then attach your own domain to the Lend Engine site. So if you've got myshop.com and you want library.myshop.com, we can make that happen for you. So you fill this bit in, and then that's the end of my slideware. So we're going to move on to actually looking at what the site looks like. So you'll get an email, and once you confirm that email, it'll create your site, and it'll give you a username and password to log into that site. And this is what it looks like to begin with. So it's pretty basic. There is a front end where you can change things, and it gives you some basic hints and tips on how to start. So we'll start with the web front end. So as you can see here, the website doesn't look particularly attractive. And what you can do is you can modify this using the edit website to make it look like whatever you want. Now, the reason Lend Engine have gone for this method is we think that some libraries won't have a website, and they will want to be able to create a few pages in here. So add new pages about their terms and conditions, about their risks, about how to become a member, and create like a little web page. So this enables you to do that. So if we go to my website, so this is the library of stuff, and we've got a few bits on the web side. So thing about info and cost, a privacy policy, and the home button. And then we've got all of the categories in here. So if you look in the top corner here, you can see it says borrow.libraryofstuff.co.uk. So that is my domain, and so you can basically attach Lend Engine to your own domain. So if we just went to libraryofstuff.co.uk, it would take us just to my website, where they can click on the library. So they can go straight to the library here, and then it takes them to that borrow.libraryofstuff.co.uk. So that's all achievable within Lend Engine. So if we click edit here, you can see we can add new pages, we can edit the home page. So if we click edit, and then we can start creating our home page. Now this is a kind of a WYSIWYG editor, so you can go in there and add hyperlinks, add pictures and things like that, and make it look pretty, basically. And it's a pretty basic website creator. If you've got more advanced tools or capability, or you've got someone who can help you with this, if you haven't, then there is being able to go into the source of the website and being able to add your own information in here. So it depends on what your level of capability is. So if we exit that, so that's how you would create the homepage, make changes to the homepage, and how you would add new pages. So you can add as many pages as you want on the homepage to enable you to represent your organization as well as use Blend Engine. So the next bit is the site setup. So we can see here I'm logged in as an admin, and I've got the admin button. A normal user wouldn't have that. They would just have my account, login, and home. So if we click on admin, now this is the dashboard. So this is where you go to find out everything about your organization, what the current state is, how many new contacts a month you're getting. It gives you lots of different charts that enables you to track what's going on. And you can see how many reservations you've got, how many things are overdue, how many are on loan, and what are pending. Now, the dashboard's got some other information here. So we've got the latest update. So this is updated every time we make a change to Blend Engine. So you can see here all the improvements that we're making over the years as we're developing the site, as people ask for new features. We've got feature discussion. So this is a place where you can request a feature, and it can get upvoted. And if it gets upvoted enough, it will then go into development. So you may decide, oh, I want Blend Engine to be able to do this. I wish it could do this. You could put it in there, and if there's enough people interested, it will eventually end up in development. There's the user guide. That's a PDF you can download. Give you all information about, very detailed information about all the features within Blend Engine. And then there's the community discussion. So this isn't really for direct support. This is if you want to ask the community of Blend Engine users, how do they do something? Because there's lots of different ways of doing things in Blend Engine, and it's good to be able to talk to others. And you may be a certain type of library, like a toy library, and you may want to talk to other toy libraries about their risks and other things like that. So it's a good resource for that kind of thing. But I wouldn't suggest using that for direct support. So if you do need direct support, we have got support@blendengine.com, which will create a ticket, and our team will be able to look at that directly for you. So if we move on to setup, so if we look at the top here, this is a latest addition we've added, which enables you to help set up your site. So it's got clickable links that help guide you through setting up your site. So if we go to site and opening hours, this is where you would create your opening hours. So you can click edit and then just add some opening hours. So let's go for Monday, 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And the changeover time is if you want to do same day lending. So say you wanted something returned at 10 o'clock. When someone creates a loan, it'll automatically select the dates for them based on the day that they asked to borrow it. So if it's a 3-day loan, it would create a 3-day section, but it would automatically set the time at 10 a.m. for return. So then you can maximize the amount of loans you get in the small amount of opening hours you've got. If you're open every day, you probably wouldn't be too concerned about that, and you would leave that blank. So everything was from 9 till 5. And you've also got to think about your audience. So if everyone who uses your services is at work during the day, then not being open when they're available might be an issue. So you've really got to think about your demographic and who uses your services. So if we click save there is information to put your address, which is quite important because it allows the map to be able to locate you, but also be able to locate all of your users. So there is a map there where you can see all of your users on the site. So there we go. We've got some opening hours, just Monday, 9 to 5. So, and then we can say, I'm happy with this, and it will remove that from setting up the account. We click on loan settings. So this is where you would set up what your loan, your normal loan arrangement is. Now, it could be that you have a completely free service where everything's free, and the membership's free and anyone can join. But we have a number of libraries that want to charge a membership and also want to charge per item. And sometimes it's not a flat fee. So in here, you can put the flat fee for how many days they can borrow, and everything in the library would then hold that flat fee, unless you changed one item. So if you changed one item to say, this item, actually, I don't want to use that flat fee. I want to use, it's £10 this one rather than £1. You can do that. So you can change one item to be completely different to the rest of your items if you want to. In my library, every item has a different price. I have two membership schemes. One is pay as you go. They pay £1 for a year and then they pay per item. And one is they pay £80 and everything in the library is free. So you can do that. You can set up a memberships, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we get to memberships. So we've got a reservation, a loan fee here for £1 for 14 days, and that's our standard. You can say whether you're a fixed price per borrow. So you maybe maximum is 14 days, but they can borrow it for 7 days, and it would be nothing, or it would be charged at a specific rate for a borrow, not for a number of days. We've got the concept of minimum loan days and maximum loan days as well. So if you wanted to lend something for up to 14 days, but you didn't want to lend it any further than that, then it wouldn't allow them to select any more days past that on their initial loan. We've got the concept of buffer hours. This was really generated during COVID, but allows you to put some buffer days between your borrows, so people can't borrow straight after it's been returned. So maybe it needs to go through some kind of cleaning or inspection, and you want a few days before it can be borrowed again. So there's lots of different settings, and you can set these up as you go. So it's really important that you have a play with this. You work out what the setting does, and then and do some testing to work out how it affects the users. So once you've set up your loan, your location, your loan settings, you can then look at memberships. So it does automatically set up some memberships, and it will automatically assign one as long as it's it doesn't have a cost. So if you don't want to use memberships, when someone logs in and someone creates a registers with your site, and you don't want them to go through the process of creating a membership, if you have one and it's free, it will just automatically assign that. But once you've created another one that is paid for, it won't automatically assign. So people will then have to select a membership. You can also make it. You can also do this whole process yourself. So registering a user and creating a membership can be done internally as an admin. So you don't have to have them use the website if they don't want to. You can do it all for them. You could create a form that they fill in, and then you can take payment for that. If you've got a membership payment, take payment, and then you can set them up, and it will send them an email so they can log into the system. So you can do it completely headless, where they don't have to interact with the system at all, or you can make it so they have to fully interact, so they have to do everything themselves. It's completely up to you. So when you click edit on one of these memberships, you've got things like the cost, recurring frequency. So you can say, if you connect this to Stripe, which is the payment processing system, it will allow you to create reoccurring membership schemes. So if you want to charge £10 a year, but you want to charge that every year, it will automatically reoccur. So you can set all that up in here. And then you can put what the maximum amount they can loan at any one time and the maximum amount they can reserve. So maybe they're taking 3 items now, but they want to reserve another 3 items in the future. So you can say how many they can reserve, but also how many can they borrow at any given time. And you can set the percentage discount. So if you have an item that's cost £1 to borrow, and you set this at 100%, it will show them the cost will be 0 to them. So you can have a membership scheme that is completely free and one that is chargeable in the same system, or even one that charges only 50% of the fee. So maybe you've got some kind of like blue light deal or something like that, and you want 25% off for them. You can create a membership scheme specifically for them. You can also make it whether it's available for people to see or whether they would have to talk to you about that membership. So maybe the blue light one isn't one that they can auto select. They need to come in to see you and you can select it for them. So you can decide whether it's self-serve memberships or whether it's an admin only function. So that's memberships. If we look at contacts now, this is where you would set up how your how it's going to look for the user when they come to register. So this is what it will look. These are the fields that they will see at the top here, and if we can see that, if we go to register. So when if they're logged out, it will show them this form to be able to register for the site. And once they've filled this in, clicks register, it will send them a web link to then authorize their account. You can set it so you don't have to authorize the account, so they will automatically become a member, or they have to click a link to be able to authorize their account. So it depends which way round you want to set it up. There is a terms and conditions button here, and you can actually put a link to your terms and conditions below it as well if you need to. Let's look. So, but if you wanted to add a user yourself, you can do that as an admin function. So in here, you can just fill their information in. It will send them their login details via an email, and it will enable them to then be able to log in. If you're doing it completely headless, so you don't want them to be involved in this, you can untick that and they won't receive login details, but they will potentially receive emails about their loans and when it's due back, when they have to return things. So they'll continue to receive those emails. So that's contacts and members. Now the members site, this is what they see as users. So you can set up exactly, so here's where you would potentially ask for a different domain. So you could ask us to set up a different domain. What languages you want to choose. So we've had Lend Engine converted into multiple languages. So if you have users that speak different languages, you can make them as an option in their profile, and they can select that as their default language. And so whenever they log into Lend Engine, it will show it in that language. The one thing it won't do is translate the details of the loan item. So if you put in the description just in English, it's only going to show it in English. But the actual form of Lend Engine will change to match their language. So there's lots of different settings you can set up in here, and it's worth going through these and seeing what effects they will have on your system. Allow members to check out items in and out. So that's a full self-serve system. We're talking about they will have access to the items. They can come and pick it off the shelf, and they can check their own items out. So you can have a fully self-serve, and there is one in Scotland where it's like a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and there's a community that use it, and they all go to it and they borrow things, but they do it all themselves. And it enables other people to be able to see what they've borrowed, so they know it's not there. So those type of libraries are available. Right, so we've done the member's site. So have a look at all of those details. So this is the item setup. So in here, you can set what the item is. So you can give it a name, a description. So that's the full description. You can put hyperlinks in there. And this is where you would set an override fee and an override period. So this allows you to set a period of time for them to borrow something. And what condition the item is in, the keyword. So this is if they're typing things in to find an item. I put a lot of misspelt words in there. I'm dyslexic myself, so I sometimes put my own spellings in there of how I would spell things, and it enables people to search for things who potentially would get it wrong. Value, so you can put what the item's value is if you need that information. Now this is fairly basic information, but there is custom fields. So as part of the Plus plan, you can add your own fields in there, and they could be drop downs or fixed data, all that type of stuff. So you can decide on that. So if we look at settings, you can come down to item settings, and there's item fields, and you can create some fields for anything basically, and that's available on the Plus plan. So we're nearly out of time, but there's also your team. So your team is basically, and I would suggest you add more than one admin if you can. So when you're creating a new user, so if you look at adding a contact, you can give them staff or administration account access. And it's better to have more than one administrator. And so if you've got a teammate, make them an administrator, just in case anything goes wrong while you're playing with the system and you lock yourself out. You've got someone else who can then tick that box and make sure you're an administrator again. Staff have a slightly different level, so there's some things that they can't do, changes to the site, download data, those type of things. But definitely create at least another administrator, at least one staff member, and at least 2 users. So standard users. So if we look in, if I log out here and just log in as a standard user, so no administration tab, but I can now go through what my user's going to see and go through my user's journey. So recently I did, okay, I've added one item. Oh, this is the borrow calendar. So this is where I'd see if it's available or not. And so if I click borrow, oh, look, it's only open on Mondays. So I can borrow this item for up to 7 days. So it's showing me a price of 50p for this item. I can add it to my basket, click reserve, and there it is, it's then reserved. So if I then look at that item, I can see my booking, but other people will just see a red line to show that it's not available during that period. And in terms of emails, I will get an email to say you've reserved the item, this is the item, and you can click the link to view your reservation. So that gives you an idea of the basics of the user's journey. And then from an admin's perspective, if I just log out of here and log back in as an admin, so I would go to my admin panel. I can see I've got a reservation. I'd click it. This would show all of the reservations that I've got for as long as I want to make it available for. So these could be many months into the future. and it does it in date order, so you can see it from today basically. I can click into the item and show that a payment needs to be taken. If it's linked to Stripe, you would be able to take payment directly from the card. Nothing's held in Lend Engine, and it's all held in Stripe, so there's no security data held within Lend Engine, but it would allow you to take payment directly without having to have a cash machine or anything like that. So we can say cash for this one. There's payment notes, and look, yeah, I'm not sure. It should have a dispatch button here, but for whatever reason, they haven't set the item up correctly. Let's just have a look. Item. If we zero this off, it may come up. So there will be something that I haven't set up that allows this to be dispatched. But yeah, you would have a dispatch button pop up, and it would allow you to put that onto loan. Okay, so what I'll do is I will now allow people to ask any questions. I've got a few in here already. So yeah, has anyone got any questions that they would like to ask about the system? I can show you a little bit about my library. Obviously, I can't show you any loans or anything without breaking people's data protection. But this includes, I've started adding my carbon initiative to all of our items, which enables us to see how much carbon we're saving. But this gives you an idea of what this would look like. So I've got 94 things actively on loan and one overdue, which will automatically send them a reminder every day about that item, and the reservations that are due to go out. So these are things that either people have picked, people have reserved for the future. So it could be for Christmas time. I'm getting a lot of bookings for Christmas now, or it could be for next week. So we're currently open 2 days a week. Right, so what I'll do is I'll turn off the recording. Hi, so I just wanted to go over where we left off on the loan for people to be able to see the process. So we got as far as John Smith lending, creating a reservation. As an admin, you'd go into the admin panel. You could look at the reservations. You could see that there was a reservation made. And from here, you would be able to take payment, select the payment method, and continue the reservation. So here we go. We've got a £1 reservation here. We can say we're taking cash, and then we go to checkout. And it has already gone overdue because we did the webinar a few days ago. So if we go back into the admin panel, normally if it was just been sent out, it would have gone into on loan, and this one's gone into overdue. So one of the things I can show you here is how to extend a loan. So if this person wanted to extend it, they could click on choose a new return date. So they would do that by going to their My Account, click on their loans, find the loan, and then choose a new return date. And here, if we select a date past, so let's go here to 5 p.m., cost of £3. If the payment module allows, if you've got Stripe integrated, they could make payment online themselves. Or you do have the option to allow an account to go into debt, and you can decide how much debt that account can go into. So it could be zero, which means they wouldn't be able to extend this themselves. But you may have like a £20, £30 or something like that to allow them to make a payment at a later date. So as we're an admin here, we're able to take payment because this is the person coming in or the person phoning us. And if you have Stripe integration, you could select their card and take payment that way. So we click confirm, and that is now should be in the loan area. So now it's moved. It's not overdue anymore. It's on loan. So that's the loan process. It's quite simple. You click on the loan, you click on the reservation, sorry, and then you take payment if you're taking payment, and then you put it into an on loan state. As that loan becomes due, they'll get an email stating that their loan is due to be returned, and at that point they can, if you allow it, they could extend their loan. If you don't, then they would bring the loan back. You would find their loan, open their loan, and click check-in. On the check-in, you do have the option to have check-in prompts. So there could be tick boxes like please check that all the parts are there in the parts list, or this item needs to be refilled before it's put back into stock, or something like that. You can also make notes on the item, and it would appear in the item. You can also create a maintenance job. So if you've got like pat testing, it could automatically create a maintenance job for this item. And there's also the ability to charge a fee, and you don't have to do this right now. You could check this item in and then add that fee at a later state to this loan. So that's another option if you want to charge a fee for whatever reason. So let's check this item in, and that loan is now closed. So when we go to the admin panel, we see there are nothing pending. And if we go to the loans and look at all, we can see all the loans that we've created, and we can drill into them to get more information if we need to. So if we look at this loan, here's the option to be able to add a fee after the loan is already closed, and it would put that person's account into debt by that amount, where you could then add credit to reduce that back to zero. Okay, I hope that you found that interesting. Sorry we weren't able to do this as part of the webinar, but we've added that information afterwards. Thank you.